outside of Tulsa.
Hey guys.
On a road trip to Seneca, Missouri, to Track 94 Brewery to do a show with Jeremy Link and Brandon Killo and Nick Campbell.
Hey.
And this is going to be your first out of state feature set. Is that right?
Yeah.
So how long of a set is that?
20 to 25 minutes.
That's a long time.
It is a long time. That's a long time.
How many times have you ever done that much time?
Never.
So you don't even know if you can do it or not. Or you don't even know how's this gonna go.
Well, it's mostly I haven't been given the opportunity. I probably got 30 minutes worth of jokes. If you cut it down to all the solid stuff, probably 20. But I've also learned to stretch a lot. And so, I mean, the set I did for Enclave was probably, I could have gone 30 minutes, but they only gave me 15. I made it like halfway through my set.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, all right. And I didn't even have all my stuff that I was planning on doing. I like to expand now if I can. So I'll just do that.
Yeah.
Especially on shows where I've got room to stretch, I can kind of explore topics as I go through.
So you're confident in being able to do 25 minutes?
Oh, sure.
Regardless. Because especially like you were saying earlier, you telling me earlier about branching off and you can stretch it out into different areas.
Yeah, I've gotten to where I can jump in and out of a joke from different spots now, which is kind of nice. So if I feel like I might be, all right, I'm going a little too far, let me bring it back in.
Yeah.
But while also not impeding on the momentum of the jokes, So it's kind of a tough one, but it's fun. It's and then we'll see. I might botch it. Who knows?
This will be fun.
That's the thing about comedy. She's a fickle mistress.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, even if you have done this before, you could get up there and not do well. It doesn't really matter.
Oh yeah. But I mean, I think for the most part, it's I'm pretty excited. I think I'll get that time. Jeremy's real good about, he kind of knows where I'm at. So if I do end up being shy, Brandon can always cover it, obviously.
Yeah.
So, but I don't think it's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
I'm worried that I might go over.
But that's kind of, I mean, even then it's probably not hugely detrimental. I mean, you don't want to go over, but it's only really the three of you on this show, which I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, so I'm guessing.
I like that.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I'm pretty excited about that, actually.
Yeah.
And I'm also excited about, I don't ever feel like I do enough time that justifies bringing a drink up on stage.
Oh, yeah.
I always bring a drink and I'm like, well, that's I'm not going to be here long enough.
Forgot it was there.
But I plan on slowing down.
Yeah.
Really taking the time stretching some of the stuff and really getting comfortable on stage. I really wish, he puts on a show, Jeremy Link puts on a show, and I think it's in Gaines, Granbury. It's
Texas?
Granbury, Texas, and it was 2 shows in one night.
Oh.
And what I noticed about that's the first time I did 2 shows in the same place in one night, is you get a crew in, you get to do your jokes, you kind of get to warm up, you do your thing. And then the second show was like, well, I already did all that other stuff.
Yeah.
Let me mess around a little bit.
Yeah.
So it was kind of fun to.
Different.
And they were much more drunk because it was later in the night. So it was interesting to see.
Mm-hmm.
That was my first time kind of dealing with that. So.
The late show.
But this has been a year ago.
Yeah.
So I'm in a different spot now. So I've got a better read on audiences. Something that I think that really helped me is I've slowed down on stage and I'm able to take it in, because it used to be like, all right, let me remember my jokes.
Yeah.
Let me try, let me remember what I'm doing. Now I can it's like when you play a song on stage, now you can just get into it and be a part of the fun with the crowd, because you're kind of on autopilot.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not really thinking about what you're playing because you're so practiced at it.
And you get to, based on how the crowd reacts, you get to emphasize differently. So
Yeah.
So you get to kind of put the emphasis in places where you think they're gonna better feel it based on how they are. But I've never done any comedy for anybody in Missouri before. Who knows? Maybe they're a different kind of people.
True. Yeah, this will be interesting, I think. This is definitely something we talk a lot about, is just getting out in places like this. It's, 3.5 hour drive, but that's doable where, we're going to come right back tonight.
Yeah.
It's going to be late, but it's very doable to get out in front of people that will, have definitely never seen you before.
Yeah.
I mean, there'll be 3 people in that room that have seen you before. So.
And they're all from out of town.
Right. I mean, that's just us. So, I mean, that's very beneficial and hard to get in doing a show unless you drive 3.5 hours away.
Yeah, and I'm very grateful just for that.
Yeah, this is awesome that Jeremy's putting these out, helping y'all out, and doing this for people that we know. So I think that's a cool thing. I mean, this show is like, I'm sure the people, maybe they do comedy at this brewery a lot, I imagine, like the ones that we go to, in our town. But they're showing up tonight and they've probably never seen anyone on here. It's like, these are all out of state. All you guys are from out of state.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a fun thing. I don't know. It's like whenever we go to do shows, it's like, we got all Tulsa comics,
Well, when you hear of somebody who's from out of town, it's like, it's a little clout. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
See, they were willing to travel this far, so that means they have a lot of confidence in their craft, but also anybody can have a lot of confidence in their craft.
That's what I think. But I think about that with music, too, is like, if you're a touring band of any kind, you have to be good enough to get to a point where you're confident in touring, and not, because that's just a lot of time and money to plan that and do. You have to make it to a certain point in your kind of career, at least. And I think that's everyone knows that. Bookers and people that come see you. It's like, these guys are at least good enough to get out of their home state and play.
Yeah, or at least show the dedication.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of it is that.
I mean, yeah, that's all it is. So it's like, whether or not they're actually, if you like the music or not, that's all subjective.
I get to peddle some jokes out here in a different place.
Yeah, this will be good. I think it'll be good for you to try out yours, because you don't even have to worry about, I always think, I don't worry about it because I'm not a comic, but I would be worried about people hearing my same jokes over and over,
Yeah, well, I've been writing a bunch of new stuff and turning things over on stage a lot quicker.
You're telling some of the same jokes, but they're in a new way.
Yeah, twisting or adding different tags.
So, yeah, that's what I do like. Last night at Put a Cork in It, you had a lot of old stuff and new stuff, but it all felt fresh, I would say.
Yeah, well, I mean, every time you do it, you go, okay, there's a weak spot here.
Mm-hmm.
Let me go ahead and try to write 10 to 20 jokes to see if I can make it better. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But, I switched up my Husky Boy joke, and now it has, it really pops,
Mm-hmm.
and I was just laying in bed with my wife, and I just thought of it. I started chuckling, and then she's like, "What are you laughing at?" I was like, "Probably the next best thing ever." But obviously it's just a fun joke.
But it's just the next thing that you're excited about for your bit.
It made that bit fresh.
Changes it, yeah.
It made that part fresh, and I got excited about telling it, And it does get a little stale after you do it for a while.
Yeah, I think that's what I've heard from a lot of comics that we've interviewed is a lot of comics I think are probably like this. They don't like telling the same jokes over and over. They get bored. They want to try new stuff and do new stuff. But I think that I don't know, there's a very weird balance with all of that stuff, because you have to practice the same jokes over and over to make them better.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you have to find that balance, because it's like you don't want to tell the same jokes to the same people over and over. That's not going to actually help you.
Yeah. Well, something like I said, I've been trying to work on is being funny in the moment.
Yeah.
And trying to pick up jokes along the way.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, that's like Miss Kitty was telling us last night. It's like she doesn't even write comedy. She just lives life. And just remember stuff, because it's like there's stuff that happens to all of us. I think that maybe if you learn to look at life in that lens, then you can just, you don't have to write any material, because everything, if you can just turn everything that happens to you on its head and make it funny, then there's your comedy.
I think that's a good way to go through life too.
Yeah.
Like that's something I've always done. I've always tried to just took the piss out of everything, and then it's the same thing whenever I do. Now, whenever I hit tough times or something happens, my mind just automatically starts doing that, and it kind of makes life a little easier. But then also, I'm like, I can't wait to take this on stage.
Yeah.
Obviously, like big things.
You're right. But it's like, but I don't know. It's like you could write stuff about even the big stuff that happens, or big things in your life that impact you. And it's like that stuff, I think, is the most important stuff to write about and bring to the world, because somebody else is probably going through something similar, you know, and they need to be able to laugh about it. Maybe they don't have the same ability that you have to turn life on its head, you know, but they need somebody to do it, I think, to feel better about their situations.
Well, I'm happy to bring it to them.
Yeah, I think that's the real power of comedy, I think. And sharing your gift. That's a way to share your unique gift of perspective with the world.
Well, let me ask you, I mean, you've known me forever. And, you know, whenever we were doing band stuff, I always did just tell stories.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that was kind of what we did. I think I played with the crowd a lot during band days. And I'm trying to go back to understanding that persona, because we did a really good job of getting the audience hype.
Mm-hmm.
And trying to maybe incorporate some of that, or kind of see where I came from and see where my strengths are. But my question to you is, like, do you see that? Do you see any of that from now till since then, the growth or like how we were?
Yeah.
Could you have seen
Yeah.
where I was going to be, kind of?
Well, yeah. Well, something, I think back then, I remember going back to what you were saying about telling stories. Because, I mean, we were what, early 20s, sitting there out in the garage, and you had all these certain stories about things that happened to you that you would tell over and over to people when we'd be at parties or whatever, and you would always, and those were your bits. I mean, before you even were a stand-up.
And they would change and evolve.
Yeah, and you would, so you've always been practicing storytelling in that way, for sure. But then another thing with being on stage and having that stage presence, I think that was, I mean, I remember seeing you struggle with it for a long time.
That's true too, yeah.
And now, I remember seeing you last night, and for whatever reason, I mean, I've seen you host Put a Cork in It and Lively, you know, a lot. I mean, several times a month for the past year. So it's like not surprising at all, but for whatever reason, last night, whenever you came up after, I guess it was after Brian was finished, and you just came up there and you were, and like, because I think that you were speechless or something.
Well, I was playing it up.
But yeah, but I think that's why I noticed it, because it was like, that was kind of like the first time I almost thought you didn't know what to say, you know? And I was like, oh shit. But then as soon as you started talking, you had control again.
Well, that's the thing. That's all. I mean, I feel like I learned this. I did this to a customer this past week, and I'll practice jokes on my customers because I feel like it helps me like be conversational. Yeah. And it also kind of helps me practice some stuff before I take it to the stage.
Right.
And a lot of my stuff is clean, so it's not a big deal. But we were talking, and I told him this joke, and but what I did is I really made them believe.
Oh yeah, it wasn't a joke.
It wasn't a joke.
Yeah.
And it, you know, not about electricity because I don't joke about work.
Yeah,
you know, that's
right.
But it was like basically like
something, just whatever.
I was like, did you hear that my teenagers? I told him about my kid and how he has attitude.
Yeah.
And I was like, have you heard this? The teenagers are like, they're made with too much air now. Did you know that? Yeah, it's crazy. Like my son just walks around all day.
Yeah, so you have, but
I really dug in. I repeated it twice. I was like, you guys didn't see it. It was like on Fox News and stuff. And I made them believe that it was a thing, and then I did that part. And so if you can make them believe the straight part so much, they're like, oh, he's just talking.
Right.
And then bring it up, like you can make that hard turn.
Yeah.
With belief, and a lot of times you just have to make a face.
Yeah.
So my idea last night with Put a Cork in It was, I was like, because
like going
the
up
crowd
after.
the crowd had come up with something, and we had learned something about the crowd that I was like, wow, okay, that's crazy. Who would have thought? And these are, it's just a thing that happens. So I walk up there and I act like, oh my God, I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
And they just blew up. I go, and I was like, looks like we found out some new stuff about each other tonight, And then they just blew up.
Yeah.
Because not only are you calling things out in the room.
Oh yeah.
You're there with them.
And you're just like I think it's an interesting thing. I mean, it's something about comedy that like releases tension. Like we were talking about earlier about just cutting or finding tension. What is it, like conflict or differences between people is just simply a conflict. I mean, not that it's that kind of conflict, but it's just that friction or whatever it is. But I think that something about comedy like releases it and it feels good. Like you feel like a release of tension for whatever reason.
Yeah. Well, and then the thing is people can come and take that. The comedians can come and take that and make it a trope of the night.
Oh,
like a motif.
Yeah.
It's like a reoccurring thing. So that's what people kind of kept doing after that came out. And it was like this fun thing in the room that we were playing with. And then, it was taken into this light where it was kind of appreciated, I think.
And everybody was like, nobody was being,
facetious.
rude or being...
Facetious.
Everyone was very respectful still. That was a great show. That was something I was thinking about myself. Because it was in the podcast last week that I was editing, and it was when I was reading the AI script from your copy from your show, and it wasn't even funny. I mean, it was dumb. I mean, it was just like, I don't know what it was, like, come join us for a great night of comedy and your gut will bust, or something really stupid. And I just read it and I didn't even do anything, and then I just paused for half of 2 seconds, but then you and Anna just started cracking up, and I'm just like, oh, that's easy, man. I can do this shit. That's all you gotta do to get a laugh. No, but I think that it's, and I don't even know. I mean, and that was just something the first time I even noticed about. I wasn't even trying to make you guys laugh. For one thing, it's just I was just reading a thing. But I think that I think that pause is what caused the humor.
Yeah.
And it was just a weird, awkward moment. I don't know.
The pause is very powerful.
But yeah, I mean, just you could turn, like I said, that's literally nothing that wasn't even funny at all or supposed to be funny, and you can make that funny. I mean, just make someone laugh. And I think it was some kind of reaction to me, you know what I mean? It wasn't so I did, I did something, not that I was even trying to, but I noticed that, so it's like, well, I can use that if I lean into it.
Yeah, lean into it. It's such a weird, ethereal thing.
But I think that's what my comedy style would be. I think I could be effective at is doing that. I could start talking about something very and where it's I think that when I talk, people don't expect me to make a joke. So it's whenever I'm just talking about something, and then if I have strategic punchlines in places, and it's I think I could do a good job of luring people in to that false sense of security, I guess, or whatever it is.
And shatter that expectation.
I think that would be something that I could do as a comic if I tried it out, or you know what I mean. Yeah. But I'm trying to look at those things. I think that is kind of a big thing with a lot of people, is finding your style of humor and what your strengths are in comedy, as a storyteller, a comedian, or entertainer. It's and we're all different. I don't have any of the same strengths that you have, I think, as far as comedy goes.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe some, just because we did grow up together, but I mean, as far as your base level of humor is not anything like mine.
Well, even the way your voice sounds.
Yeah. Or the way we talk and the way we communicate.
Because you're a little more baritone,
right?
You know, like you can talk straight.
That's more calming.
And it sounds, but it also, you can shatter that expectation a lot quicker.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit more bubbly, so I'm a little bit more.
Harder to.
I'm more upfront, easier to take, but then it's harder to, because you know I'm joking. So I got to be different. So.
Yeah.
I mean, but like you said, anywhere you find your strengths, wherever you feel something is funny, that's where you always should go. That's the whole idea I try to live by. It's like, okay, man, I feel like something's funny here. I'm gonna go with it. Just go with the feeling, follow it out all the way through, if you can.
How y'all doing? I scare you all a bit? Yeah. I'll tell you one thing, it is so good to see like 1/64th of the population of Seneca here today. Thank you guys for coming out. But hey, we're going to keep the show rolling. I got a couple more comics here with me that came up from Oklahoma City. So what I want you to do is get loud, put your hands together a lot louder than you did for me, for your next comic. Good friend of mine, great host, coming up, making a name for himself in Oklahoma City. Please put your hands together for Mr. Nick Campbell.
Hey guys, how's it going? I'm Nick Campbell. I'm what JCPenney's calls a husky boy. By your laughs, I can tell I am. This is a beautiful place you guys have here. Yeah. Oh, it's right next door is a nice little dance place called Meaningful Movement. It's pretty cool. It's nice. Right next to a brewery. It's kind of a weird deal. I thought it was like a little place where they sell Depends, but that's the only meaningful movement that I really want to have, you know? As long as it's not an accident, you know what I'm saying? Hey, I want you guys to give a round of applause for Jeremy, man, for putting this thing on. We really appreciate it. If you would, yeah. And for Track 94 for putting this on. And for my cousin for coming all the way out about an hour and a half high off her balls. It was, it's okay, you can talk to her, she's super nice. She's super nice. She used to beat me up at family reunions. Oh, now we can't talk about it? Now that we're in front of people? We can't talk about it? You're just gonna get red? Okay, that's all right. Her name is Holly. You can talk to her after. Yeah, man. I'm an electrical contractor, and my favorite day is when I got my first work van. First of all, you have to tell people, if you have a van, what you do. You can't just have a van and not tell people why you have it. You know what I'm saying? But I'm an electrical contractor, and that's why I have one. And my favorite day is when I got my first work van. And I know you're supposed to say, like, when your kids are born, but my van wasn't a happy accident, you know? Because it's hard to get a van. Right, you gotta save up a bunch of money, you gotta outfit the van, you gotta buy the candy. It's easy to make a kid. You can make a kid anywhere, right? You can make a kid in the back bathroom of this establishment if you wanted to. I made mine in Bed Bath & Beyond. In the Beyond part. I took her beyond. You can disappoint anybody anywhere, guys. You can do it. I'm the reason why they closed down Bed Bath & Beyond. I'm gonna let you know. They were like, why is this bed messed up? Ew. All right, guys, I've been Nick Campbell. Give it up for Brewery.
Nick Campbell, ladies and gentlemen, one more time. Listen to that, he sounds like a much better father than me. He likes his kids. But hey, you guys having fun so far? Yeah. Is there anything you'd rather be doing in Seneca, Missouri than being here or at one of the casinos y'all got? No, there ain't shit else to do here, man. Don't ask about it. But all right, we're about to bring the headliner up. He is a very, very funny comic from Oklahoma City. He's worked with Carlos Mencia and countless other Hispanic comedians. So what I want you to do is clap your hands, get loud for Mr. Brandon Killo.
Hola, ¿cómo están? Así, bueno. I'm kidding. Wouldn't that be fucked up if that was my whole act? I just did the whole thing in Spanish. I'll be like, son of a bitch. Yeah, that's right. This show just got 110% blacker. Seneca, fucking Missouri, man. You know what I mean? All right. I've been Brandon Killo. Y'all been great. Thank you so much.
One more time for Brandon Killo. I am glad to see somebody came up here and made y'all laugh tonight. Me and Nick went outside and cried and held hands for a minute. Man, I'd never come back to Seneca. Y'all have fun, right? I know Brandon, y'all had fun with Brandon. I will tell you the best part of being a comedian and producing shows like this is getting to sit back and watch these guys work and steal their jokes. Because we don't always work together. But hey, I want to thank every one of you guys, gals, for coming out, laughing with Brandon tonight, and not just sitting at home or going and spending your money at the casinos. But for real, thank you guys so much for coming out. If you guys would give us a follow on our social medias, you would be shocked at how far 1 or 2 follows can help our careers and moving forward, getting more jobs, so on and so forth. Fuck, I just blanked out. I went and smoked some of y'all's recreational weed outside. But anyways, thank you guys so much for coming out. Have a good night. Thank you so much.
That's what I was thinking about tonight too. Is like, because obviously, like, and you know, y'all did a good job of like doing everything you had to do, or you should do, is pointing it out and not making it any more awkward than it was. You know, I don't know. It was fine though. Ultimately, and Brandon did a great job. And,
of course.
And so that was good. But no, I thought you did a good job as far as, especially with the material. I mean, doing the material and doing, what'd you say it was, 26 minutes?
Yeah, the 26 minutes.
So that was good. I mean, you did it, and it worked, you know. In any other crowd, it would have been, I mean, and I think it went over fine even tonight. It just, like I said, that crowd sucked.
Well, like I said, I think sometimes people are a little tighter.
Yeah,
people can enjoy it and also not laugh real loud.
Yeah.
Something about a venue like that is when you can't turn off lights and people aren't really packed together. They kind of were more spread out. It was a brewery, so it's you know, they can't really control the seating as well. You know, they can control where they put seats, but not where they put people. And having people up front and tight together usually helps them laugh more because they feel it off each other. And also, the more you dim lights, the more people are willing to laugh because nobody's watching.
Yeah, for sure. That's a good. I think those are probably, because the thing is about that place is they definitely, that's not their first comedy show. They definitely do this, I think, often.
Well, this is their first comedy show at this venue.
Was it?
Yeah, because they were in a previous venue.
Okay.
Yeah, so this was kind of like this. But again, I think it was, you know, the people felt a little tight. They didn't want to really give much.
Yeah.
They were smiling.
Yeah.
You know, and
it
they
seemed
would,
like they were having fun.
But I did get laughs. You know, the thing about shows like this is it really shows where your jokes are strong. So when they're forced to laugh, you know, if they're not giving it to you easy, that's when you know that joke's good.
Yeah.
So like there's a few in my set that I knew were gonna hit, and then some of them that I haven't had a chance to go up against a tight crowd got put to the test tonight. And you know, the strep bit, that new one, that one worked really good, but my surgery bit, it's brand new, so that didn't work very good because it's not very punchy. I'm still kind of working it out. But you know, the thing Jeremy said too was he said that I think he said on the other occasions where he's worked here that the headliner always does really well and the first couple of people usually don't do too well. So I don't know if maybe it's the place or what, but either way, I mean, it was still fun. My cousin was there. You know, she came in from Arkansas, and it was good to see her. And you know, she was her first time seeing me. She said we did really good, and she was. But yeah, we got laughs. Like I said, I just think it's 9 o'clock.
It was late for sure. It was a weird time.
People were kind of spread out a little bit. And something else I noticed is when we were doing the set, the bartender / waitress would come out and talk real loud in front of people.
Yeah, that was kind of...
And as soon as you take away somebody's attention from a joke, they miss the joke. So it's like a little bit of that. I don't really like blaming a crowd as much as like kind of just gauging what you're dealing with.
Ultimately, I think that, you know, I'm not saying that y'all should have done anything differently, but I mean, there are comics that could have walked in that room and took control over it, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like
Brandon
it's...
did.
Yeah.
You know, the first thing he did is he engaged the crowd in a question kind of thing, and then
I think that's a good...
gave them the opportunity to talk.
Because that's really what I think that's what I was going to say earlier. It's like I had a thought about, like, you know, making the audience, you know, engaging with them more if they are tight like that, I think. I don't know, but
I tried to be in the room with them because, you know, I talked about how there was this place called Meaningful
next door
Movement.
Or something.
It was like a dance.
Yeah,
dance place, and I made a joke off of that because it was like I thought it was a Depend store or something.
Yeah, no, I thought that was a funny joke. I don't know that. I think people laughed at that.
Yeah, they laughed at that one. Yeah, that one went good.
Sounds good.
Yeah, every bit got a laugh, but it wasn't like big laughs.
I think it's just that's probably how it goes. I mean, it's just like as far as like you said, you didn't do anything wrong necessarily, but it was a rough.
Well, I mean, you've seen my set. You've seen, you know, how did it?
Oh yeah, I thought everything went well. I mean, like the set is getting better overall as far as like just like you've been saying, being able to move around. And I noticed tonight like you taking more time, and I think that's really powerful.
When I did those pauses.
Yeah, the pauses and taking time and stretching out the jokes. That was something I found interesting just from watching your set all the time. It's like you were bringing up stuff like way late in the set that you know usually would be up top, you know. Like some bits. So that was cool to see it, you know, kind of spread out and pop up in different places, I guess.
Well, I figured out a new way to get in and out of a few jokes from other jokes. and so I wanted to see how those would work.
That was the thing, is like it definitely felt like probably if you told any of those people that was the first time you did that long, 25, 26 minutes or whatever, like they probably wouldn't believe you. I think you felt like you knew what you were doing with that time.
Oh, yeah, I appreciate that.
So that was, even if it wasn't, it went as well as you wanted it to. Like you knew, I could tell you knew what you had put thought into doing this differently than you would do it a 15-minute set or 5 minutes or whatever.
Yeah.
So you definitely had a plan, I think.
Well, my goal is to slow down.
Yeah.
Make sure. I mean, that's always my goal.
And you definitely, so
but yeah, it's basically just slow down, kind of think about what I'm doing, try to jump off what I can, and then interact with the crowd where I can. I've been doing that more. And then I wasn't trying to stretch my jokes as much as I was trying to like live in them a little bit, and give each one space. Because whenever I finish a joke, sometimes I'll just go right into the next joke. Whenever it's kind of like if you give it like a couple of breaths and then go in, then it's like kind of gives them a reset. So there's like pacing to it. I think. I don't know. I'm just trying stuff out. But it kind of works out pretty good.
I think it went well, though. I mean, it was a fun night. I had a good time.
It was great.
I think the crowd had a good time overall. I mean, nobody was like mad. It was just a weird setup. And there, like you said, I think it was the spreading out of people that really hurt it. The whole show overall.
The best part is I just did a bunch of that stuff and put a cork in it yesterday.
Yeah.
So it's like, I know these work, especially the new ones. I was like, okay, I know these work, so it's sometimes whenever you try something new, you can lose confidence if you kind of let it take over, and then you can kind of affect the rest of the set.
Oh, that's what I was gonna say. You didn't seem like you panicked at any time.
Yeah.
That's something that like I can imagine most comics doing the first 30 minutes. Like if you kind of lose your control over your set at all, or like you lose control over your emotions even by getting frazzled or something because something didn't hit right or something. So I thought, even if something didn't hit perfectly, it didn't seem like it phased you. So I think that's important, probably, for doing these longer sets, because that could really mess up the whole. You have to fill a lot of time, so you could be a lot of awkwardness if you let it.
Well, and if you mess up a bit, that's like a chunk of time.
Yeah, that too.
But I have plenty now to where, I mean, if I would have done everything that I did, that I have, I got 40 minutes easy.
Yeah. You could have even kept going longer.
Yeah. I mean, everything that I have that I know would work. Like I've got, if we're talking about everything I probably got 60 minutes, but we're not pleasing people.
Yeah.
But no, I think I've got about a solid 20, 30 minutes. I'm starting to work on that, and so it's nice. I'm actually hoping that we've got another show in May the 4th. It's going to be a Star Wars show.
Where is that?
It's going to be at Comedy Avenue.
Oh, is that the one you were talking about?
Yeah.
May, okay.
So it's going to be Comedy Avenue.
Nice.
So we're going to do like a Star Wars show.
I definitely got to go to that.
I get to do 30 minutes on that one.
Okay.
And I've already got a few Star Wars jokes I've been working on. But I'm kind of excited about that deal.
You can ask Brandon if you can borrow his C3PO joke.
What's it? Oh. Nah, I don't think I would. I'll make my own. But yeah, it was interesting to do that long, and it didn't even feel that long. Honestly, I was like, I thought he lit me early.
Yeah.
So I've gotten to where I can be comfortable even if we're not killing.
You're not even
I'm
worried
just like, hey,
about...
we're just doing a set. Stay in character. Don't look phased, because as soon as you start, whatever you feel the audience starts to feel, you just got to be like, oh, we've been here. Oh, this is normal. And it's not like things didn't hit; they just didn't pop as hard as I'd expect
Well,
them to.
like I said, I think it really was the weird situation, because there was a lot of people there.
Well, somebody's phone went off.
Yeah,
there
that
was people
was
clanging in the back, like there's a cook cooking stuff in the back.
honestly though, like, and even with all that, like, none of y'all seemed to be just too distracted. Obviously, that is distracting, and you can't help that. But like, it didn't seem to throw you guys off as much as it just threw the whole night off. I mean, you know.
Yeah.
But it's like a lot of comics would probably struggle with that more, you know.
Well, think about it like this. People
Yeah.
are used to watching TV, movies, something that's a passive entertainment. And then when we're up there, we can become perceived as passive entertainment.
Yeah.
And so whenever you have a waitress or food in front of you, or you're getting up to go get something, like,
good point.
and then you come sit back down, well, now you've lost your place. And so you got to kind of wait until they finish the bit.
Yeah.
Or
It's like walking in on a conversation.
Yeah.
You didn't, you know,
especially when the waitress was like loud. She's like yelling over.
Yeah.
What do you want? You know, and then you'd be like, oh, okay. But then once you kind of got back to another part of the bit where they could get back in, they were back. So
Yeah,
it's
they were
like,
engaged.
Yeah, they were engaged. But I know my cousin alone probably drank like 3 or 4 drinks within, you know. So they were a little buzzed.
Yeah.
So it's like that's part of it. Yeah.
I think that, you know, maybe it's because, like, in small towns, I mean, I don't know how big that town is, but it didn't seem very big. But, like, it's like they probably don't go to a lot of comedy shows, so they don't really know how you're supposed to even, it's like, you know, interact with it, or, you know, even supposed to, I don't know.
Yeah.
There's a certain type
small
of
town
etiquette.
people don't like to laugh. You know?
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, like, as far as, like, with the waitresses and all that, too.
Yeah. But, I mean, it was still a great night. I mean, if Brandon did it, he killed. He did a really good job, so that means it can be done. So that's how I think of it. It's like, okay, where can we improve?
It's like, what could you have done better?
Like I said, it showed me where I was strong, and it showed me where my jokes were weak.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's like, all right, let's go make those other ones strong, too. So, but it was good overall. Great experience. I got to do 25 minutes. I succeeded. I had way more than that.
Yeah.
So it's good to know where I kind of stand on that. And then, just looking for more 30-minute spots now.
Yeah, try to get those opportunities when you can. And
I'll set myself up my own headlining gig and put a cork in it.
Yeah, good.
And do everything. You know? But yeah, that would be a good idea to practice before that.
Yeah, to build up to that.
Yeah.
It's a good goal.
It was fun. They had a really cool cigar area in the back.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Felt like an old speakeasy.
I really liked that place.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Smoked a little piece of a cigar.
They had some
Nice little nicotine buzz.
and the people were all nice. I mean, nobody, you know,
Yeah.
like the people that were there just seemed like cool people.
Yeah, it was a cool spot.
But anyways, driving back home.
Yeah, it's 1:30 in the morning. This is a tired rhythm and wit. It was a fun one, man. I like traveling because it makes you feel like the real deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is what it is. On the road to do.
It also makes me realize I would go really far for little or no money.
Yeah.
You